I have been using Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable, and I have some thoughts. Also, does anyone else remember Shelfari? I'm going to start off with Goodreads since I've been using it for however many years, and a lot of people have been kind of crapping on it lately. Goodreads is very good if you're looking for something just basic. If you just want to track your books, if you just want to have some friends on there, this is a great fit. They don't really change the aesthetics very much, so everything's always where you expect it to be. Some people have a problem with that. They're like, oh, it's not updated, but I can find things. I know where to go. Like, I don't like having to find this button again. You can track your books. You can keep track of the books you want to read. You can keep track of the books you are reading. You can keep track of the books that you have read. You can leave reviews. You can do star reviews. You can keep track with the edition that you have. You can go through and pick if it's a hardcover, if it's a paperback, if it's a Kindle, if it's in a different language, if it's an old copy. You have all the options. And you can always easily go back to a review you left on a book. You can see the book, you're in that page, here's your review, here's your friends who have liked the book, reviewed the book, want to read the book, it's all right there. There's annual reading goals, there's giveaways, you can create new categories, it's all right there, you can do it easily. Now for some downsides, features have been slowly leaving Goodreads over the years. There used to be a writing section where you can kind of go in and write a little something, you know, people do it for poetry, short stories, fan fiction, it was all in there, you could do that. That got taken away. Recently, they just took away the ability to message friends, you know, like DMs and stuff. That was an option, which is no longer there. You can read the messages you had done previously, but they're not going to go with it moving forward. Recommending a book to a friend is kind of cumbersome, and the recommendation never gets to the friend anyway. You have to kind of find the button to send the recommendation to the friends, but usually the friends, after I've been like, hey, did you find that book? And they're like, what book? They never got the recommendation, so I don't know what's happening with that. I imagine that'll be something else to go here soon as well. There is also book groups available on Goodreads as well. However, it's not really user-friendly from the app. Generally, that's something that you can really only do from a computer. I think you have the basic ability to comment, but if you want to start a thread or something like that, it wasn't really working. Next, I'm going to go into Storygraph. This one is also pretty easy to use. You can track your books just as easily. You can find your editions just as easily. They don't exactly let you do book categories, like you can't organize it quite like that, but they are very tag happy, so you can do tags and then go into the tags and find the books that way. What sets this app apart is that it will data crunch your books. So it'll give you graphs, you can organize it by year, you can organize it by month. It'll show you kind of a rundown of what you've been reading, like, oh, hey, you've been reading a lot of fantasy right now, or hey, you've read a lot of this author right now. It's not needed, sure, but it's kind of fun to see. This app, I believe, also has a dark mode option. I think I've been using that. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. I think I switched it to dark mode. They also have giveaways, just like Goodreads, and annual reading goals. You can also create your own goals or challenges. However, I did try to do one for my Stephen King challenge, and the books wouldn't mark as read, so that was kind of weird. So I took that out. Continuing in with the cons of Storygraph, reviews aren't as easy to see. It's not all available right there. You have to kind of go off to the side for those. So if you're looking for your own, you'll probably find that in the reviews section that you have to click into, or if you're looking for friends stuff, you have to click into the community tab and you see all the things that your friends are doing there. It's not on the main page. And I have been trying to use Fable, but to be honest, I generally forget. I've downloaded that. So there's not a lot I can say for this one, but here's some things I can. Starting with the pros. Um, they are able to transfer your books from Goodreads to Fable to make it easier. I did that. However, it only went back as far as 2024, and I have books going back to like 2008. So they kind of left me last on that one. um, but they do also data crunch like Storygraph does. They don't go into the graphs as much unless you go for the plus, which I have not, obviously. Um, but they do kind of give you like this little blurb rundown, like, hey, you're generally this kind of reader, and hey, here's some of the authors that you've been reading. And I believe they do that for genres as well. I'm not a big star person. I don't do those because if I go back to look at a book, like, it doesn't tell me anything. Like, why did I like this book? Why did I not like this book? It doesn't. But they do, I will digress there. They do like to promote that they do half stars. So I'm assuming that none of the other apps do. So if you're a big star person, that would be something that you want to take in. And in my wanderings through the app, looks like they do have an option to read classics for free. I doubt it's all of them. I'm sure it's just like an assortment of however many, but you can read some of the classics from there instead of having to pay for them elsewhere. So that's nice. And now for some cons. I initially downloaded this app because it said you can review movies as well. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. And then I download it and they don't have any movies. They have the option to review TV shows, which felt like a big task because some shows go for a long time and there's lots of seasons, and that just doesn't really, and I didn't like that so much. I wanted something more concise like a movie would be. That was kind of sad. Also, another con that I've been coming into is that I can't leave a review without doing a star rating first. I can't find a way out of that. Google says you can. I'm not seeing the option to minimize or go away from that to where I can leave the review. So I probably won't be doing Fable for very long. It is a very aesthetically pleasing app though.